created to reign. What does that mean? You are royalty. You were created to win. There's a definition that says to wear a crown.
From your beginning to your end, you were created to reign. It's time to own your royalty, 'cause you are the essence of queen. Oh, that's to me now. If I want it, I'm gon' get it. I make it rain, I make it rain. If I want it, I'm gon' get it. I make it rain, oh, I make it rain.
I was created to reign. Here's what happened. Now, when she shines, I don't have to fool with it. I don't have to worry about it. I can celebrate with her because I was created to reign. She was created to reign. We can rock together. We can rock our royalty together. I know who I am.
I'm gon' get it.
Hey, everybody, what is up? I am so excited. I know I say it every time I mean it even more. Welcome to Standing in the Rain, another episode of Standing in the Rain. I have got one for you. I've got the most amazing, prolific human you ever, oh my gosh, you so glad you're here. You don't even know it. Just wait. But hey, first, before I jump right into it, I want to make sure that I welcome all of you who are new to Standing in the Rain. Thank you for vibing with me. Thank you for jumping on. Thank you for taking this journey. You will not regret it. So what does this mean? Standing in the rain, rain. REIGN. What does that mean? Rain means to overcome, to dominate, to superabound, to win, to sway, to have influence. The essence of win, to wear a crown. My favorite. Rain means your royalty, and standing in the rain is simply one of my many ways that I try to convince y'all, that you're walking greatness. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna vibe today and hopefully elevate. But oh my gosh, y'all know. So I have with me, I've been trying to get her for like 15, 11 years. I mean, like just hundreds of years. A minute. Hundreds of years. I've been trying to get her. She said yes a long time ago, but she's in demand and amazing and necessary and, like I said, prolific and transformative. And so I just was like, hey, I'm just going to wait in the cut. I'm just going to wait. And I was like, today? She's like, not today. I was like, today? Not today. But today is the day. So I want y'all to join me in welcoming the incomparable, the amazing Dr. Emmary Butler. I'm here. Y'all gonna hear it. What is up?
Man, what a welcome.
Man.
That was amazing. You make me feel good. You're a vibe.
You are a vibe.
We're going to do this every time.
Every time. Yeah, I'm going to out-compliment you. That's what I'm so excited. Thank you for saying yes.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for your patience. You know, I'm gonna tell her myself. She told me show myself some grace. But you know me. I'm y'all who ride with me all the time. I mean, I'm transparent and you know, rain is a journey, and I'm on it as well. And man, I was so late today. Oh my gosh, she was still waiting on me. She gonna talk about me bad later.
Not at all.
Yeah,
we're family.
I was so late today,
family.
and I didn't mean to. I just messed up. But I just want you to know, thank you for waiting and being patient and giving me grace. And you matter so much, and I just think it's so important that they get a chance to hear from you. So here's the thing. Here's what we do on Standing in the Rain. The whole point of me having my people here is because I want my people to meet those people, y'all people, and for everybody to grow and elevate. Rain makes room.
Yes,
right?
Love it.
And so I love bringing my amazing, phenomenal, fabulous network to y'all, because I hope that you glean something from their amazingness, their royalty, that sparks you, inspires you. And so I just want you to talk. We're just gonna vibe a little bit, but what we do is we always vibe around a raindrop of the day. And I always try to think about like, okay, what's the right one? I really spend time trying to think about the person I get to have the privilege of interviewing. And the raindrop of the day for you, the raindrop of the day for Dr. Emmary Butler. The raindrop of the day is jump.
Ooh.
It's just jump.
That's a good one.
It's jump.
That's a good one.
And I hope y'all do.
And I'm in that season.
Mug.
I'm in it.
Mug.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I hope you don't understand.
Yeah.
I hope you jump. I really do. I hope you jump. And so I just want to jump right into it. I want to be respectful of your time, but I want you to know who you are because they don't see us a lot. They don't see you a lot. They don't see a Black woman doctor a lot. It's a shame.
Yeah.
Talk about the journey, like the road to becoming Dr. Emmary Butler is not one for the faint of heart. You little girl wanting to be a doctor?
No. Not at all. I don't know if you remember. So
I've known her for since she's like this high.
Like little Emmary. So to be here today and to now essentially call you my peer, like this is so dope for me. This is one of my favorite things to be back in Fort Wayne because there's a lot of you that I looked up to when I was little Emmary, and I'm like, yo, we the same age. Like we're peers now.
Yeah.
So you were there as far as, watching me grow up from there. But as you know, I'm from the east side, so grew up downtown. And I recently had a conversation with my family, my mother and my sister. And I'm like, I didn't know we were poor. Like, for real.
I didn't either. For us, I didn't either. Right.
Like, poor.
Yeah.
And what I realized is that, my parents worked hard, and I'm grateful for that we didn't feel the things that they felt as far as when they grew up. So we had running water, we had fresh clothes, we didn't miss out on things, in school. So we were able to still participate in activities. And I'm forever grateful for that. Yeah. Because I didn't realize we were poor until I was in college. And it just came up. And I was just like, hey, were we poor?
Yeah, shout out to your mom, by the way.
Man.
I love your mama.
She one of the strongest women I know.
She a real one.
Shout out to Deb.
Yeah, I know. She chased us down in the store one day. She saw me, my husband and I, and she was trying to give us some money for something. I was like, I don't want your money.
That's her.
I think she was going to give me a whooping in that store. I was like, you going to take this butt. I was like, yeah, I love it.
She one of the dopest people that I know.
Yeah.
Just her sacrifices, honestly, between sacrifices and then just the belief in the support system that I had going through, I could have easily been a product of my environment. Of the east side. But you know what? A lot of good things come from the east side as well. And that's one thing that I'm so grateful for. When I graduated from undergrad and medical school, they, as an association, had this huge sign in the front yard because they were so proud. Like, Dr. Emmary Butler's from here. Yeah. Her mother still lives on this block. She still comes to visit this block during the holidays and when she's free. Like, we're proud. And
I just want to make sure, because there's always a lot of raindrops within the main raindrop of jump. But I just want people not to miss that either, because, probably one of the biggest compliments people give me sometimes, they're like, Dawn doesn't act like a lawyer. And I know what they mean. I mean, they're basically saying like, they're trying to say like,
you lay back.
Exactly. Like, I thought you were going to be something. You're going to get real bougie on us and not know anything. I was like, my mama get me. Yeah. And so I love that about you.
Yes.
That you have always stayed incredibly just grounded. You're doing transformative work.
I know nothing different.
Exactly.
That's
man.
the
That's
thing.
hot.
How can you be from where we're from and not reach back and give to that area, and when you know like what needs to be done? Yeah. I don't know how to act bougie. Like, what is that?
I don't either.
Because at the end of the day, my biggest compliment is for people to to represent the East Side, or to say I'm Deb's kid or Sam's daughter or so and so little sister. Like, I'm proud of that. Just as proud as my family is them saying that I'm Dr. So and so. I'm kind of shy, about that title, because I'm like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. But what I realized is that all of my friends, like my close friends, we're all professional women. Yeah. So, when I look at these other women, I just feel like I'm doing something that everybody else is doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and you almost forget and so I'm gonna tell you, because I used to be that way. Like, I just like, people are like, make a big deal, like, oh my gosh, you're the lawyer, and I'm like, I'm Dawn. Stop calling me that. I'm Dawn.
Like, it's after 5.
Yeah, it's like I'm Dawn. Like, whatever.
Even with my intro, I'm like, no, like, don't,
like,
don't tell them.
But I need you to take it all in, and I also need you to lean into it. Yeah. Because I always say when I get a chance to speak, like, we're somebody's possible. Yeah. There's a little girl. The little boy looking at you, they're like, oh my gosh, I ain't never seen it. Yeah. I ain't never seen it. And she handled me with care.
You're right.
And she doing something, she modeling something that I never thought was possible for me.
Right.
So you gotta step into it.
You're right.
You gotta rock it. You gotta wear it. You just gotta make sure what you do naturally, that you don't use it as a divider, as a barrier between you and like you don't, like you said, like you don't remember, but you don't have that issue.
Right.
But you gotta step into it. You gotta take it. Plus, I know you worked Talk about that a little bit, because there's some there my rain dancers who rock with me, new and those who are new to me, and those who are been vibing with Staying in the Rain from the beginning. I mean, they're like, how do you do? I want to do that, or how do you do that? Like, how did you get there? I mean, what does it look like, the journey?
So I decided that I wanted to pursue medicine in high school. I wouldn't
Really?
say that is, I would say it's probably about standard. But if you go to college and you don't specifically know what you want to do, a lot of us start on the same platform anyway.
Okay.
At least that first semester.
Okay. And where'd you go to med school?
IU.
IU, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So I went to undergrad at Xavier. I always knew that I wanted to go to a Black institution. I'm a first generation college graduate, and so just the whole process of applying for schools and how do you look for schools was new for my family and I. And then as these acceptances started to pour in, it's like, how do you choose?
Yeah.
I'm thankful. I had a mentor, Mrs. Dort. She was our principal back at Lakeside. Her daughter was down at Xavier, and she's like, look, you're interested in medicine. This is the #1 program. This is where you need to be. And I got my acceptance letter, and I was on my way. The thing is, in between that, like, it kind of sounds easy. I graduated from Northside in 2003. I was their first Black valedictorian, and super, super proud.
Yeah.
And, just was thinking that scholarships would just rain on me. And honestly, it didn't. And it was a disappointment. So I'm like, you see these star athletes.
Right.
Like, no question, getting full rides. But, like, in my field, as far as academics, like, I'm the star athlete. So where are my scholarships?
Yeah.
I applied for everything. You name it. And this is when we had dial-up. So I'm on AOL dial-up. Y'all know about it.
You like say, don't nobody get on the line. I'm trying to
getting kicked off.
Kicked off. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, we're on dial-up trying to just find the scholarships and applying for everything. And, thankfully my family was just ready to make that sacrifice. Like, my parents never scared me out of attending college because of the cost.
That's good.
And that's the biggest issue, right now, as far as for a lot of families. It's expensive, but, honestly, you have to look at it as an investment, because look where I am now.
Yeah.
And look how I'm able to give back. And so I received a partial scholarship from Xavier, so we still had, like, room and board to take care of.
So wait a minute. You're valedictorian of your high school, big high school. Mm-hmm. And nothing? Like, no, like, oh my gosh.
$0.
Wow.
$0.
It's something off,
Yeah.
It's something off, and I will talk about your foundation in a minute, because it's just, that's just, when we think about our kids and what they're looking at, and and just the fact that and there's no shade on those who are athletically gifted. I mean, I get that.
Right.
I'm fine with that. It's just that there are other gifts. There are other gifts,
right.
and we ought to, and we got to. But again, it's the reason why it's important that you lean into it.
Yes.
To all that you've accomplished, because they need to see, and have vision for what's possible for them, especially for those who, who think that there's only one way. They need to be shown
Right.
other ways. But go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Right.
I just like well, none. But
The
yeah.
math ain't math, huh? So, same thing, we couldn't figure it out. While I was applying to colleges, I was an athlete as well. So I played 3 sports, and people are like, you have to choose, either
Between what?
Academics or athletics.
Wow.
And I knew, I'm like, I'm not going to the WNBA. So of course, like, academics is my thing. So I chose to go the academic route, never pursue, any of my athletics. And I got down to Xavier, and I was essentially bored. I'm like, what do you do with this extra free time? I'm used to juggling so many things. And it just so happened that Xavier had a new volleyball team. And I'm like, okay, they posted a sign about tryouts. So I go try out, I make it. We have this huge meeting. They are already recruited the players that they wanted to recruit and had given scholarships, but they just so happened to have like a few extra $1,000. And they're like, okay, like, what do you guys need? And it just so happened that they were able to meet that need before we even started school.
That's awesome. That's
Is
God.
that God?
That's God. God's so dope.
Like,
yeah, I know. He's like, I got you.
Right.
I got you. Yeah.
My brother and my mom packed me up 2 weeks after I graduated from Northside and took me down to New Orleans and dropped me off. Not knowing, like, okay, how are we going to cover this extra, like, $4,000 or $5,000? But, like, okay, whatever we have to do, we're going to do it. And by the end of the summer, it was taken care of.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Like, mind-blowing, So I was able to, knock out those 4 years and not have to worry about carrying debt.
And there's something else. I mean, another drop in there, and it gets another shout out to your mom, because my mother was the same way in this regard, because I didn't know we were poor either. But while they did not have resources per se, to be able to take care of all the things, my mother never had, and your mother never had a poverty mindset. My mother, she did not see limits.
No
with
obstacles.
regard to us. It was exactly the opposite, and so you have to be really, really careful, one, about you're talking to y'all out there just as you're vibing with us about putting limits on your kids, on yourself, simply because you haven't seen it done or you can't figure out how it's going to get done.
Yep.
I mean, my gosh, I always say this. There's just no. Certainly, and I know everybody that vibes with me is not a believer, and that's cool too. But there's just, if you believe that you reign, there's just no risk. You're a sure thing.
Yeah.
Reign means
bet on yourself.
Yeah, man. Reign means to win. So that means that you are win. You're not fighting to win.
Yep.
You are win, going someplace simply to manifest.
Yes.
Right. So I love that. That's what I'm getting from that. So you're down at Xavier now. You're playing volleyball, and you are in the pre-med program.
Yes.
Okay.
Like going full term, full time. Very heavy in sciences.
Okay.
So we're taking 2 and 3 science courses plus the lab. Like, they did not play. And if you got behind or you weren't, we had to start our application and those sorts of things pretty early. They start you day one. If you didn't keep up with those things, they will call your mom. So
wow. I love that about
weekend,
HBCUs though.
Yeah, it's a family.
Yeah.
For real, no kid left behind. So one weekend we were traveling for volleyball, so I had missed probably that Thursday, Friday class, and we all had the same advisor, but apparently the advisors didn't communicate. And so one of the advisors called my mom, like, hey, her CV isn't turned in. And my mom like, oh, you down there clowning? I'm like, no. We're traveling for volleyball, it's taken care of. And that's another thing that I'm grateful for. On the volleyball team, the older girls as well were pre-med. So we're on the bus studying, sharing, different study tactics, how to pass these exams. And also you see them applying to medical school and being accepted to medical school. And so it's this is not a gimmick. Xavier produces number one doctors. Yeah. So this
Black
is going to be me. Right.
Yeah.
So from jump, it was just yes, this is the place that I need to be in order to get to my next destination.
Was your plan? What? I even tell them you're and don't let me mess it up. You're an OBGYN. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Was that always the plan, or do you go into that planning to do that? Okay.
Mm-mm. So once you go into medical school, you do 2 years of academics and then 2 years of clinical work.
Okay.
And during your clinicals, you rotate through all the specialties. I actually thought I wanted to be a pathologist. So they study the tissues and do diagnoses and those sorts of things. You kind of work by yourself in the lab.
Yeah.
And my best friend, she gets on me all the time about this. She that's not you. That's not your personality. You need, you're a people person. Why did you think that you would be in this lab looking at these microscopes? And so one of my clinicals is a surgical block, and we did OB, and it didn't feel like work. The days were long, the days were hard, but it was just so satisfying.
Yeah. You got to care for women.
This is it. Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, when I started medical school, my sister told me, she was like, you are going to be in women's health. And I was like, nah, I don't think so. Yeah. Just because it has such a bad reputation as far as, the work-life balance and the long hours, and people aren't happy, and they, for whatever reason, OBs have a bad reputation of having bad attitudes.
Okay.
All the ones I know, I love, and they're great. They're some of the best people that I know. So I don't know where that came from, but fell in love and took off from there.
So you're at Xavier, you're powering along, you're playing on the volleyball team, and I hate to skip this. And you join our illustrious Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Ch12. You see it. Y'all see it. You see it. This must roar. But you're just doing your thing. Did you know? You ended up back here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Was that the plan?
It's not on the radar.
Because you've been jumping. Because so I named this, the raindrop of the day is jump.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been jumping since the beginning. Because it's not. I mean, don't let me gloss over this either. You leaving and going to New Orleans. Mm-hmm. That's
2 weeks after graduation.
2 weeks after graduation. I mean, that's not for the faint of heart. That's jumping into the deep end of the pool.
Oh yeah.
When was Katrina? My son was born in 2005.
So it was 06.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're down there during all of that aftermath.
Junior year.
Yeah.
Which is our most critical time of studying for our MCAT,
Yeah.
which is our entrance exam for medical school.
So you're watching that.
Yeah.
You're watching the divide of care and of coverage and support. I know for me, I was, like I said, I just come back from on maternity leave with my second son. My husband had to make me stop watching the news. I cried every day. I was nursing him and crying because I'm like, this is not fair. I mean, we can do anything. We got planes to do anything. Y'all can't drop water and supply. These people are on a roof.
Yeah.
Like, it's just crazy. You're down there in it. Mm-hmm. How does that? I mean,
So honestly, we evacuated for hurricanes each year.
Okay.
So, hurricanes, unlike tornadoes, they give you time to make a plan and, evacuate or do whatever you need to do.
Okay.
So each year we will pack up our few things, we'll head to a friend's house, come back.
Same, you're still there, but you're just like, let's just get out of here.
Oh no, we'll go out of the city.
Out of the
you
city,
always
okay,
go
okay.
opposite of however the storm's coming in.
I gotcha.
You just
I gotcha.
drive a couple hours north.
Gotcha.
So thankfully for my volleyball teammates, they were from Louisiana, and so we just drove up to their homes. Their family welcomed us, and we stayed there. So we thought it would be the same thing. We packed up like a little bag of stuff, a couple books, your computer, and you drive an hour and a half away. And the day that the storm hit, we woke up, and it's a beautiful day outside. It's not a cloud in sight. It's sunny. We're like, there's no way anything happened in New Orleans. Like, look how the weather is here. So as things were unfolding, we're watching the same thing on the news that you all were watching. Wow. A lot of the phone lines were down, and so people were trying to contact me, and I had no idea. So families were panicking.
Worried about you, yeah.
There was no communication from the school because everything, our school had 15, 20 feet of water. So it was just kind of chaotic. The city definitely they weren't ready for it. So we stayed for a little bit just thinking like, oh, this will clear up within a couple of days. We'll be going back to school. Like, we have games coming up. we're just super excited. And honestly, I feel like that summer, everything was just going too right. Like, just the whole vibe of how the school year was starting off. Like, everybody was just super excited. Our team had gelled well. We were going to have a great season. And everything just kind of, after that first week, came to a halt.
So you felt like that going into this, like
it was perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. So probably after, 3 or 4 days of us not being able to contact our school, my mom was like, hey, like, you have to come on home. Like, we don't know if they're going to let you back in school, but we just have to figure out what's going on for the semester. And thankfully, a lot of the schools, locally or honestly nationally opened their doors to us.
Okay.
In order to attend. Now, some schools charged because that's, you have to pay tuition. But other schools just open their doors and they're like, whatever you have, just come take your courses and, kind of stay on track. And then Xavier opened back up in the spring, and we actually had kind of a split spring, like going to spring into summer. They fit 2 semesters into that time frame just to try to catch everybody up. Because Xavier is very particular as far as what courses you can take outside of the schools. And so they had to catch us up on a lot of the sciences, especially for us who, at that time, the MCAT was written. So it was only offered twice a year compared to now it's on a computer, and it's probably like twice a month now. Yeah. And so they were just trying to keep us on track, trying to push us through. But, still you go back to the city and we're the only ones there. The local stores are probably open 2 or 3 hours, out of the day. All the essentials were out, water, bread, lunch meat, stuff like that. Like the city definitely wasn't ready. But I think we all kind of we formed a unit, as far as our classmates were just so excited to see each other again. And we knew what we had in front of us. We saw this goal too of getting into medical school. So we pushed through.
Yeah.
And being in it, we didn't realize that, I'm like, this wasn't right.
It wasn't,
You know,
yeah.
we were definitely sacrificed. But, you know, came out of it that fall, and, you know, a lot of us are successful now. We talk about it now, and it's just kind of mind-blowing, like, what we actually went through.
When you sit back and you look at it, you're like, wow, we were right in the midst of that,
Yes.
pushing.
Yes.
What, I mean, you always, I mean, like, I you know, certainly, you know, say that I've known you ever since you were this high, but like, just, I mean, talk about, like, you always, where's that coming from? That push, that drive, that thing that's making you jump in, that you know, where's that coming from?
I never seen anything stop my family from doing what they had to do to meet goals. And I was never discouraged. You know, you asked, like, oh, when you're little, did you want to be a doctor? I want to be an astronaut.
Gotcha.
And as hard as my siblings were on me, like, they'll take me to the park and, you know, block my shot in basketball. I'm this big, they're this big. They never told me that I couldn't do something. So, you know, I'm running around saying, oh, I want to be an astronaut. They're like, all right, girl, like, go do that.
Yeah.
So just that encouragement, you know, I hadn't heard the word no or met an obstacle that I, like, you know, just figure it out. Like, this is just something in front of you. Just figure it out and go around it or go above it.
Yeah.
So super grateful for that.
That's important. I mean, and even going back to what you said about, like, you do everything you're supposed to do. I know I'm all over the place, but for a reason. I mean, you do what you're supposed to do in high school, and you think, like, this is my moment. They're gonna see
easy.
it. It's gonna be easy. They're gonna see it, and they don't. But but again, don't miss the drop within the drop. When I talk about jump, is the raindrop of the day. I mean, that could hit hard and make you feel like don't nobody care. But at the end of the day, you're like, okay, they may or may not care, but I care.
Right. My
So
family cares.
I'm gonna choose me.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you power through.
Mm-hmm.
And you can stay all day there. I mean, but you power through. You graduate.
Mm-hmm. I didn't go to medical school the first year.
You didn't.
After.
You took a gap.
I wasn't accepted.
I don't think I knew that.
I know.
I
And this
did
was
not
hard
know
for me
that,
because,
Em.
like, school is my thing, right? So I would say, physics was probably the first obstacle that I ran into.
Okay.
I actually failed my first 2 exams. Like, it just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
I'm very biology based.
Yeah.
Like, I could spit facts to you. It has to make sense. Physics, you have to think about outside the box, and they give you something. They want you to get here. And I had to figure that out. So, you know, it took tutoring and those sorts of things. I ended up getting an A, but, like, if there's an F minus, like, I'm sure I had a 2% in that class. Like, I failed my first 2 exams. And my biggest concern, you know, you had to have a certain GPA to keep your scholarship. So I was in my professor's office like, ma'am, I have to get a B in this class. I'm trying to go to medical school and I have to keep my scholarship. And she was like, I don't know. You know, we dropped the lowest exam, but, you know, still with that, you might get a C, you know, if you at least pass your next few.
Yeah.
So I found that I'm like, oh, she's challenging me. Like, I'm Emmary Butler. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
love that.
finally kind of stepped into it like, oh, okay, you don't see my potential. End up getting A's on the next 2 or 3 exams, killed the final. She actually sent me an email like, oh, okay, wow, I apologize for, you know, underestimating you. You got an A in this class.
Right.
So hit that first hurdle. And then, so back to the MCAT. We weren't prepared going into the MCAT. We still had probably another physics course and probably another biology course to actually be fully prepared for the MCAT.
We take the LSAT.
Yes, so
lawyers.
same thing.
for
Yes.
Okay.
So we take it anyway. Or, you know, hey, let's just see. Maybe I can slide through. Who knows? So go, and I'm below average. You know, half the things I didn't know on the exam. So you actually apply for medical school junior year. So we're, you know, starting to go through applications, and everybody's like, hey, your academics is great. Your CV, your extracurricular, your leadership, all of this looks great. But this MCAT score is just not great. And so, you know, you're getting rejection after rejection. And, you know, coming from somebody that I'm used to being successful, I'm like, man, like,
it messes with you, doesn't it?
What's my plan B?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a plan B.
Yeah.
This is it. Like, this is what I want to do. And it just so happened, IU sent a letter like, hey, you have great potential. Unfortunately, we don't have a spot in our medical school for you this year, but we have a master's program that either you do 2 years and get a master's in biology, so you can still, you know, use it and do something, or we prepare you for medical school, and most of our students go to medical school after that first year. So honestly, it was a blessing in disguise. So I wasn't ready.
I love it.
I wasn't ready for medical school.
I love it for so many reasons because one, you found the rhythm of your journey.
Yeah.
One, but then two, and I wanted to make sure anybody out there, because Dr. Emmary Butler didn't get into medical school.
I did not.
Say it again. Dr. Emmary Butler did not get in the first try. Did not get into medical school.
Did not.
That's hot, because I want, because there's so many people out there that like they get deterred, man, and they just
like one strike you out.
Yeah, like because jumping in the deep end means you gotta you've gotta.
You gotta swim.
You gotta swim. You gotta tread. You gotta. It's not. That's the point. I mean, you're out there. You can't feel the edges. Mm-hmm. I mean, I never knew that. I don't think I ever knew that, but I love that is your story. Mm-hmm. Because I can't tell you enough how important it is that you don't quit on you.
Yes.
Right. I mean, that's what I see.
Yes.
It wasn't about anybody else at that point. You're like, I'm getting this daggone. I'm becoming a doctor.
Yeah. And, just in life, like at some point I was going to hit rejection.
Yeah.
Why not do it early?
Yeah.
Figure out how to deal with it instead of being a full adult and somebody finally telling me no. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, what's that?
Yeah.
How do I maneuver?
I flunked. There's 2 tests you have to take for the law school to get out to be able to sit for the bar, the MPRE and then you take the bar exam. I flunked the MPRE.
Okay.
I mean, literally like flunked it. I mean.
You're like, was I there?
Oh,
Did
you're
I show
right.
up?
Over a man. Over a man. I was like, what? I was like, who is this person? What is wrong with her? It's like but I'm so thankful that I flunked that thing because it jolted me.
Oh yeah.
I was determined I ain't gonna flunk another thing. I know that's right. Not over a man, not over a chick, over a dog, over any. I wasn't flunking anything, but it helped me. And I needed to know it was possible because I was starting to do, this is not your story, but I was starting to be a little bit frivolous with the things I had built.
Gotcha.
And got and so it kind of put me back in line. Like, hey, too far. You work too, and so I love that. So you do that you do the master's program.
Yep.
And
so
then
do
you
a
get
year.
1 year?
Yes. It's accelerated. You're essentially taking the first year medical courses, but in different blocks.
Okay.
So smaller blocks.
Okay.
And then all summer we prepped for the MCAT.
And you took it again.
Killed it.
Killed it. I love
Killed it. And I realized, during that time that we were initially preparing, this is post-Katrina.
Yeah.
We're trying to fit 2 semesters in one. It's just a lot, going on during our MCAT prep with IU. That's all we had to study. That's all we were focused on.
Did you feel like you failed, though, when you didn't get in the first time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think that's important because I felt broken. I mean, I think we say like over a dude, I was broke up. I was like, oh my gosh, my whole life.
Yeah. What am I going to do? Right? I'm going to graduate next year and just like be home. And be like, what am I going to do with this biology degree?
Yeah.
I don't want to teach or anything. Right. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? And I realized I didn't have a backup plan, which honestly was okay because it was like, okay, this is your backup plan. This is what you want to do. So how do you get there to do it?
Yeah.
So it was eye-opening, but I definitely, felt like I had failed. And, once again, my family was kind of like, what else? Like, what's the other options?
Yeah.
You didn't get here just to like stop. Like,
I remember
something else.
my first semester of law school, I got 2 C's, 3 C's. Mm-hmm. I did terrible. For law school, a C is terrible.
Hard.
It's terrible. And I remember standing at home and I was crying when my grades came out. It was like Christmas time. And my grades got to stand there. It was by the Christmas tree. My mother was upstairs and I was just crying. And she's like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I just don't know what to do. It's over, blah, blah, blah. And I thought she was going to be like, it's okay, baby.
Yeah.
This poor thing.
Like, get it together.
She was like, you got 2 choices. She was either like, shut all that crying up, take this family, whatever. She said, take your ass back to school.
Right.
Or quit.
That's it.
I was like, you are the worst mother I've ever seen. I told her, I was like, you're the worst mother.
That's exactly what you
But that's
need to
exactly
hear.
what I did. What? Because I can't quit.
Right.
Now she, like you said, she done challenged me. Now I'm not going to quit.
Right.
But I was like, you're the worst. You didn't read any parenting
Like,
magazines.
can I get a hug first?
Nothing.
No.
But I appreciate that. But I won't want to miss it because it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts because I don't want people to understand when I'm saying, like, you ought to jump. I want you to jump. You better jump. Jump into your life. But it's hard.
But you're going to hit some obstacls.
Yeah.
It's going to be some things
it's
that
rough.
like...
It's rough sometimes. Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you go into medical school. Medical school is how many years? 3 or 4?
Mm-hmm.
It's four more years. Golly. Golly, and then you have residency?
4 plus.
Oh, gosh.
Depending on what you do. Yeah.
Wow. And so I mean, I know I'm trying to get, I'm just, how was that? Like with medical school? I mean, I hate to encapsulate it into big buckets like this. Hard, easy for you?
Oh, it's challenging.
Okay.
I think hard scares people off, but it's like, oh, it's challenging. Oh, I've overcome challenges before.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just like high school, middle school, anything else. They just build up on things, but it's fast.
Yeah. It's
so,
fast. Yeah.
you know, a lot of people are like, it's like drinking from a water hose. Like it's coming at you. But thankfully, I had done half of those courses already through the master's program. Same professors, same everything.
So dope.
But they didn't even tell us that.
Yeah.
So we show up day one, and I'm like,
I did this already.
Looks familiar. And like the professors know, they like, yeah, like y'all good. You have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
But even going into medical school, like, so cost again, right? So I get through Xavier, no issues, come out debt free. Great. This sounds good. Going into medical school, it's like, ooh, okay, here we go again. Well, how much is medical school?
Yeah.
You know, people come out of medical school $200,000-$300,000 in debt easily. You know, no question. So once again, you know, my family's like, ooh, we know it's a lot, but we gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
So about 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after I gotten my acceptance to IU, they had told me, hey, you are an Indiana resident. We have a scholarship available for Indiana residents who want to go into primary care. And at that point, I didn't really know what specialty I wanted to do, but I'm like, why count myself out?
Right.
Like if I apply, just do it. You know, they can tell you no, you just do it. So I'm sure hundreds of people, applied. I go. So, you know, just being prepared for DELSA. You know, you look up, okay, what is this scholarship? It was named after one of the top Black surgeons in Indianapolis. So I'm like, man, like starstruck. Because those are the things that I don't get starstruck by, like, celebrities, like things like this. And I'm like, ooh, wow, like, okay. So I'm reading all these things, like, you know, okay, what can they ask me? I had to write 12 different essays in 2 weeks, taking a full course. I said, oh, this is a haze. Like, I see what y'all doing here.
We've been here before.
This is a haze.
Yeah.
So knock these knock these essays out, go to my interview. I'm thinking it's like a 1-2 person. Oh, okay, yeah, you know, let me boardroom full.
Yeah.
I look to see where my seat is. The doctor who is named after it is him, and my seat right here next to him. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
But like super sweet, super dope. Like, oh, you know, we loved your essays. You know, we see you've been working hard. We see you're from Fort Wayne. Had a few people actually vouching for me because they were also from Fort Wayne. Like, oh yeah, this is where she grew up.
Yeah.
So I leave feeling pretty confident, but I'm like, you know, I'm sure they have a lot of applicants. Like, I don't know. So I'm walking out towards my car. First thing I do is call my mom. Like, hey, yeah, I think I did it. Knocked it out. They said, we'll hear about it next week. Just so happened one of the judges had caught up with me. He was from Fort Wayne.
In the parking lot?
Yeah, like that fast. He's like, hey, like, who you talking to? And I'm like, oh, you know, just talking to my mom. Thanked him again for his time. He was like, it was a unanimous vote. You got it.
Yes.
But don't tell anybody. We'll announce it next week. And I'm like, what, Mom? Like, what? What's going on? Who you talking to? And I'm like, wait, hold on. Like, wait a second. So I tell her, she celebrate. And then we had a student, like, welcoming picnic probably that weekend. And probably 3 other judges came up to me like, hey, just wanted to tell you, you won, but don't tell nobody else. So, like, everybody was just so excited, so welcoming. And then the news actually came out that following week.
Full ride?
Full ride.
Damn, I love this so much. I mean, there's so many. I mean, just when you're talking, I feel like we just never talked about a lot of this stuff. Yeah. You know, because I mean, you came out of medical school and you debt free.
Not debt free because you still got to pay for room and board.
Yeah, but you
like,
didn't pay for your tuition.
Compared to,
I didn't either. I mean, same
so
sort of thing.
Like,
yeah, I mean, I know. I sat in a room and because all these things with boardroom around people and they're asking me 50 million questions and all these things. I mean, just all this stuff. I love it.
Yeah. And
I love it.
To bring jump into, I mean, this was the jump that my family took for me.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, can you imagine
yes.
having your child graduate and $300,000 is in their name or in your name because you co-sign. Like, what are we
gonna do?
Going to do with
That's
that?
right. That's right. And it was, and what I love about it is it was already taken care of beforehand. So part of the point of jumping, because I think a lot of people wait to jump
they want to see.
They want to see. They want to see like what's down there.
Yeah.
How's this gonna get taken care of? What about this part? Even if they don't want to see the whole picture, sometimes it sounds like this because I've done this. Like I don't need to know everything. I just need to know how this part gonna work out.
Right.
But that's
just
not
like get a sample.
Yeah.
Then I'm a.
Yeah, then I'll know.
Yeah.
And so for your parents, you're right.
Yeah.
You know, your mom taking that leap and like, hey, she's going.
Yeah.
I don't know where this money is coming from.
Yeah.
But she's going. You know, and for you to bet on yourself and show up and get rejected and still say, nope, I'm still going.
Yeah.
This is the plan. So you now are in medical school.
Not chilling, but like
I understand.
just that.
No, you can say it.
Having debt over your head.
It's a crazy thing.
Like,
and I've watched students do it and watch my friends still. My husband, my gosh, I mean, he was like, when we first met, he was like, all I think about is I just want to pay off my student loans. I just hate that I have these student loans.
Yeah. So
right?
I was able to just focus on what I needed to focus on, which was passing these classes and graduating.
I don't want to miss this part too. We're getting close to our time. I want to miss this part too because you said like I feel like I'm being hazed with this 12 essays
in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, right? It's crazy. Please don't take yourself out of something simply because it's hard or because it's going to make you uncomfortable in the moment.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I heard because. You could have easily been like, bump all that. I ain't, who the heck gonna write 12 essays? I got stuff to do.
I mean, it was like a page and a half, 2 pages. It wasn't like, hey, shoot me this paragraph.
Right.
It was like,
And you could have been like, and I'm sure 50 million people have applied for this thing. I'm not gonna get this thing. I applaud you for saying yes to you.
Man.
And not just even trying because you could have done it and phoned it in. Let me just go in here and do this. Nobody would see. You'd be like, Mom, I tried. I applaud you for showing up and being excellent and betting on yourself, for jumping.
Yeah.
When, quite frankly, nothing about your circumstances made it easy for you to do that. That's big stuff.
No.
I don't know if you ever sit back and sit into this stuff.
Oh, it's mind blowing.
Yeah, I want you to. I hope that as you're telling me your story, you're hearing it.
Man,
I'm a fan, dude. I mean, I know he's like this is hot. I mean, I love this. I hope. I want to like keep this on record and play it for my kids and just because they need to understand this. Ain't nobody gonna give you nothing. They not gonna check, but you can go get your stuff.
Never had to pass the easy street.
That's right.
Ever.
That's right. So you're in medical school. You go to your 4 years. You obviously choose the discipline of being an OB, which is for people who don't know is
women's health.
Women's health.
All things women's health. Delivering babies. Yes.
Yeah. And then you graduate. You have to do rounds and residency. Excuse me. How long did you do residency?
4 years.
Lord,
to be a generalist, so I could go 2-3 extra years if I wanted to specialize.
I'm trying to count. You've been in school for how long? Like 30 years? And you're like 12. I was like, wait, yeah.
Yeah, after high school, up 4, 8, 12. 12 extra years.
Yeah. Yeah, so
then you start your life.
It's
delayed gratification. Like, you have to wait on it.
Say that again.
Delayed gratification.
It's delayed gratification. Yeah, because
wait on it.
I think, but it's just so worth it for reasons that just compound.
I couldn't see myself doing anything else.
Yeah.
At all. And that's what it came down to. Like, what else? Even with those 12 years, like, I talk to my mentees now and they're like, I should just, maybe do like nursing or NP because it's only X amount of years. I'm like, what are you going to do with those other years?
That's what I tell people all the time. They're like, oh my gosh, I was just, I don't know, law school. I'm thinking about, but that's 3 years of your life. I'll say, how old are you now? They'll be like, I'm 20. I said, well, you're going to be 23 in 3 years.
Have a whole job.
You just got a whole career. You're going to be 23 anyway.
Yeah.
You could just still be this person at 23 or you could be something totally different if that's what you really, really want.
Correct.
But it don't change nothing. And so I love that.
Yes.
That's a lot. So you graduate. do your residency. Where'd you do your residency?
St. Vincent in Indianapolis.
In Indianapolis.
So each time I tried to leave, like go
Try to
back
leave.
south. Try to go back south.
Okay.
But just the opportunity.
You tried to leave Midwest, try to leave Fort Wayne, try to leave Indiana, trying to get out of here.
Tried to get out.
But you end up doing your residency at St. Vincent's,
Yep.
which is, again, meaning you basically do the job.
Yes. So
Shadowing, learning how to do it. Is that right?
So you in there. It's not shadowing. You in there.
It says
yeah.
it writes itself. These jokes write themselves because you're an OB. You write themselves. You're in there. Yeah. so
we learn your skills.
Yeah.
So surgeries and, how to manage complex issues and, patients in the office and delivering babies, the complications.
Wow.
Like, you have to learn all that in 4 years.
I have to ask you this, 'cause what does it feel like, the first delivery?
Man.
I remember a post you had. You had a picture.
I probably did.
You had a picture. Was it you? Was it? I'm trying to think. There was something you posted after your
did.
first one. It was like, what was that like?
So my first one was actually in medical school.
Okay.
And that's when I was like, okay, yeah, this is it.
On your own?
No, never on your own.
Okay.
So as a medical student, when you rotate, so there's a hierarchy. You're a student, there's the residents, there's the attending. So as residents, you have to get a certain number in order to graduate. So, usually as the med student, you're somewhere like just trying to stay out of the way, just watching. And it just so happened, my rotation was at Wishart. And when I'm telling you, they pushing out babies in the hundreds, every month. And so there was a patient that was ready and she was delivering and there was no residents around. So the attendant grabbed me. She was like, all right, let's roll. And so, I'm nervous, gowning up, gloving up, and she pushed this 10-pound something. It felt like a turkey. So I'm like, what do I, what do I do?
Martin had the,
I was ready.
The glove, like,
right, just catch. That's exactly how it was, just catch. And I'm just like, wow. Just the reaction from the family and the mom. I don't know what they went through to have this pregnancy or even the things that they went through even during labor. But I'm like, man, how dope is this?
Yeah. I just wondered what it was like. I mean,
each time it's like, it's kind of
mind-blowing. Because you get to participate. You get to participate in a literal miracle every time this happens, and you get to do this. And I know, being on this side, having had 2 children, I mean, my my OB used to be in your group for a while, but my gosh, I mean, I think it was Dr. Scott delivered my first. Delivered Brooke, and because my doctor was not on call or what have you, and I had never really met him. That man, I've never seen him since, but was so kind to me, and there were so many complications going on at the time I was getting ready to have birth, and he treated me like it was his child being born.
Oh yeah, that's how serious it is.
Yeah, it was. But I just appreciate. It was such a magnificent moment. I'm getting ready to be a mom for the first time. Yeah. Everything seems like it's going wrong. And he puts his head in the operating room. I had to have a C-section. It was emergency. He puts his head on my forehead. And because I was starting to hyperventilate. I was getting really, and they wouldn't let Mark come down yet, just whatever. He puts his head on my forehead and he looks at me. And I'm crying. And he's like, "We are going to have a baby today." I was like, "Oh my God, I don't know. I promise you, I couldn't identify him now to this day, but I remember him." And so I just say it. I ask you that just because
that's what the thing
awesome
about my group. Like, I rotated with them as a resident, and it's just a gut feeling.
Yeah.
The same thing that you choosing a undergrad, choosing a medical school, choosing a residency. You go through that thing again. I feel like my life was just in these 4-year cycles where I had come to the point where it's time for me to choose my first big girl job. And I'm like, the world is my oyster.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to leave South, but they're telling me these great, opportunities in Fort Wayne. And so I came up and spent 6 weeks. And I was just like, this is unbelievable. Like, there's no way y'all could fake this for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, it was just unbelievable.
It's palpable.
Yeah.
It was palpable. So I had to ask that. Thank you for indulging me, because I know what it felt like on this side to be handled with care.
Yes. And each delivery, and then as, now as an attending, I take care of these women from 8-10 weeks of pregnancy into all the way up into delivery. So I'm like, we have history. We know stories. Like, So, we're all fully invested in these outcomes and wanting you all to do great and, have this amazing baby. So, like, literally each experience, like, I'm just grateful. I'm like, it's a million, it's a couple hundred OBs in this city. I'm like, you chose me.
Yeah.
And so even to, on Facebook, people put posts and they're like, oh, Dr. Emmary did X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, oh, that was me. Like, this is how y'all feel. It's almost a out of body experience to see these things, even, in your intro. And I'm like, you talking about me.
Talking about you. Well, I need you to understand too, like, like what it felt like for me. I mean, y'all don't know too, like, we'll get to that where we'll close out, but like, Dr. Butler was my doctor here. We'll talk about that in just a second. But I can't tell you what it felt like the first time, even though I loved everybody, Dr. Scott, Dr. Warren, that group, but to walk into that waiting room and sit there and you walk in.
I was going to ask you about that. Like, how did to see me as little Emmary to like up to this point? Like, how does that feel on your side of things?
It felt amazing. It felt amazing. It really, really did, because I felt affirmed. I felt proud. I felt proud. I told you that.
You did.
I felt protective.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I'm 51 years old and I've never gone to a doctor that looked like me until you.
Unbelievable.
Right? I would have chose you when I was pregnant the first time if it wasn't for the fact that you were still not you weren't a doctor yet. That would have been weird. But no, it just to see. I mean, think about it like this.
Yeah.
If you've ever, my mother has a beautiful yard and she has all kinds of fruit trees or whatever. And I remember when they moved into the house, and the yard is a huge yard. And it was blank back there. And as I watched her plant, when I used to live there, I watched her plant all these fruit trees. And now if you go out there, big, huge pear tree in the back, big apple trees, big plum trees, peach trees. I mean, the best fruit. And I look at that and I remember, we sit there and kind of marvel at it sometimes. I was like, she'll be like, you remember when we planted that? I'm like, yeah. Look at that thing.
That's
and
crazy.
Look at what it's yielding.
Yeah.
And now look at who it's feeding. All these things she gives away,
deep.
dude. So when you say that, like, I've known you since you were little and known your family, and your family's always been so wonderful to me and my family, all I see is like, look at that. Look at what it grew into.
Yeah. But it's
Now
all from y'all watering, that seed and shining light. And I mean, even for you to go through the things that you went through and to be where you are today, like, those are the things that I looked up to. Like, look, they're making it.
See, I never knew that.
Yeah.
I never knew that. Because you're busy doing it.
Yeah.
When people tell you that you're just busy doing it, you're showing up and you're busy doing it. That's why it feels a little off.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you. So if you borrow my eyes for a minute, it feels a little off. You have to talk to me too.
Oh, yeah.
You tell
we
me
don't
the same
see
thing.
that
You don't
person in the mirror.
It feels like, I cried yesterday about this. I'm not as fabulous as you think I am. You're like, no, you still showing up.
Yes.
And so you still showing up. But no, man, it felt amazing. It feels amazing. So yeah, having you as my doctor was, I switched immediately. I mean, I did. I said, they're like, why are you switching? Anything wrong? Like, no, I am there. I mean, y'all just were all placeholders anyway. I mean, it's real talk. And so I love it. And so, but I want to talk about it. We want to close it out, but I want to miss it because y'all can peep the shirt. Because I talk about, that tree that we talked about, just that share that gives back all these things. That shirt, Pace to Success, the Emmary Butler Foundation. You better talk about it. Come on, make room.
Man.
What you doing? What's the Emmary? What's the Pace
am I doing?
to Success? What's the Emmary Butler Foundation?
So this started as what I felt like was a small idea, but it's like, what ideas are small? You know what I'm saying? Like, just giving yourself that credit. Just knowing my history as far as the people who invested in me, as far as how did they make it easier for me to get to that next step?
Yeah.
So I knew in college, I'm like, all right, I want to do something for my hometown. And honestly, I didn't see myself physically here.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to be here because of those stories.
Yeah.
Like, I've been able to treat friends, family, make new friends, make new family, delivering cousins and sisters. It's just mind blowing. Like, I treat every patient as a family member, but like when for real somebody from your family comes through, it's just a whole different level.
Yeah.
And so just thinking about those things, I was like, okay, if I'm not in the city, like how else can I give back? And so I always had this idea of at least starting some type of scholarship. I'm like, I'm gonna start a scholarship. It may not be specifically for Northside because I want to, just encompass, I want to cast the larger net to, get these students who, like me, are doing the right things but are overshadowed by, whatever.
Yeah.
So came to Fort Wayne, met with some people, kind of, pitched my idea. And they're like, why would you just do a scholarship when you can have a foundation? And I never, I'm like, why would I do that? This is just a little idea, give people a couple $100 every year. And they're like, no, if you start this foundation, you can have huge events, you can have sponsors, just taking my idea and making it bigger. But, my idea, I'm like, I don't know, am I prepared for that? Can I do that?
Yeah.
But like you mentioned, just seeing myself in someone else's eyes, it was like, no, why would you start small when it's like you get established and you take off? So when I started here, I was like, all right, this is my 5-year plan. Okay, my scholarship has now turned into a foundation. I'll have this foundation up and running by, I don't know, year 3 or 4. Giving back to the students.
Yeah.
We give scholarships each year. I was given a laptop when I graduated from Northside, just, not knowing the things that I was able to just complete my assignments in my room instead of having to fight over computers in the library, the little stuff. But that helped me be successful. I'm like, that's what I want to do. These are things that I want to do. Mentoring, because it's huge. It was so many people that I was able to bounce ideas off of, or who just, poured into me during those hard times where I felt like I was being rejected. And it's like, look, this is the bigger picture. It's just all the things that I wanted to encompass into my foundation. And so, I'm getting it off the ground, getting a logo, what do I want my motto to be? What do I want to, excuse me, what do I want to focus on? Because then I just, now I want to give to everybody. And it's like, well, you have to kind of specialize and give to a certain group. And just kind of being nervous, I had a soft launch. All right, hey, y'all.
When are we talking?
It was October of 2016.
Okay.
So my birthday month.
Okay.
Kind of a soft, hey, here's an email. This is what I'm doing. And it blew up. And my sister was like, none of your ideas, I don't know why you keep putting this thought in your head that when you release ideas, it's going to tiptoe. Anything that you do, it's going to take off.
Yeah.
And it took off. I mean, I cried. My first donation started running, I'm thinking $5, $10, it's tax write-off.
Yeah.
Thousands.
Love it.
Rolling in. And I'm like, y'all supporting my idea of giving back to these students in Fort Wayne who look like me, who potentially, don't have the same support that I had, people watering into me when I was younger, but trying to find a way. So at this point, since 2016, I've given out probably $20,000 or so.
That's right.
I have an endowment down at Xavier.
Is that right?
Xavier is about to start a medical school. So my endowment is a scholarship for students from Fort Wayne. And so each year, scholarships will come off of that endowment straight to these students going from Fort Wayne.
Who applies? So is it a medical background, a
Just
medical
pre-med.
discipline, pre-med scholarship for the foundation?
Yep.
Okay.
Any student from Fort Wayne.
So if I got a student out here and say, I'm thinking about going to medical school, I'm in high school, high schools? High school students?
So, yep. So
high school students want to go
and
into...
it's each year.
Each year?
Each year it's available. And when I first started, it was probably only 1 or 2 students from Fort Wayne. I'm like, give it to them.
Full rides?
This is not yet. I'm going to claim that.
No, claim it.
Claim that.
Well, you've already challenged me. I was just holding on to it. You challenged because I've been slipping. I've been dragging my feet. We've been wanting to start the Roseman Foundation forever, and I thought it was so hard. But I'm giving you my word right now.
Oh,
see live on national podcast,
Come on.
TV,
We changing lives.
We're changing lives.
out
We're going to
here.
start the Roseman Foundation
Yes,
before the
'cause why
year is out,
not?
because I want to be able to give people full rides. I know what that. I want to be able to do all those things. So we're going to get this
Yes.
started.
Yes,
And because I've been wanting to do it
That's what I'm
forever. And
talking
my husband was
about.
like, "Why haven't we done it?" And I got in my head like, all the stuff going on, like it's too hard, but I'm like, it's not too
not.
hard. And so I'm a
So many
bug you
people
to make
ready
sure
to support
yeah,
that.
I'm a bug you about what we did, so you already know. But yeah, I want you to
Yes.
claim that you're gonna be giving full rides away.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, you're gonna be giving full rides away, so these kids can
appreciate
understand that everything they need is already in them and in the
Yes.
communities in their community. So
Yes.
yeah,
And like pace for me is you are going at your own speed. Like I can't go at your speed to chase my dream.
I love it.
Because it might be too fast.
I love it. I love that you
Like-
started this 2016. When did you come out of medical school?
Med school 12, residency in 16.
Yeah, so you came out. There was borrowing this line from a movie that sharks are born swimming. You just came out jumping, man.
But really, 19 was my goal. I was like, I'll get my logo and my paperwork together,
Yeah.
and by 19, I'll be jumping. Oh no, I was jumping in 16.
Yeah. And I ain't got no excuse because I can do the work. I mean,
Oh, it's easy for you. Yeah.
I mean, like the legal work, all the stuff, we can get the work done. I just didn't understand how to get it done. We're gonna get it done. I can't wait.
That's it.
I can't wait.
You already have a team.
No, I can't wait for the Emmary Butler Foundation and the Roseman Foundation
Let's
to partner on
collab.
something.
Let's collab.
Dude, we're gonna kill it. We're gonna put some kids. There's no reason. I don't want people. It's even on my I am list. I just thought it was hard. I appreciate you for that.
Yeah.
So, what is next for Dr. Emmary Butler? Because as I said, I said she used to be my doctor.
Yes.
Because she's leaving me.
I have.
She's left me. So
Y'all make me feel so bad. Since you left.
Since you left. So I'll be looking
I'm
at the
like,
next doctor. I'll be sitting in the room like
okay.
this.
Yeah, I heard stories. I need y'all to act right.
I ain't gonna act right.
need
They're
y'all
gonna be
to
like,
act
"How you feel?" I feel fine. I'm fine. If I gotta be here, I'm fine.
I had a.
If I ain't have to be, yeah.
So my coworker actually told me last week. She was just like, "Look, let's just all call her because I'm upset too.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
We all mad. Let's go find her."
Or I could just, have you as my doctor down in Indy, and I only go once a year anyway. I just come down to Indy. Yeah. So what's next for you? You're jumping again.
Took a jump, and when you initially this year asked me to come on the podcast, I don't know. I was in such a different space. Like my vision was kind of cloudy. I had recently had put in my resignation for my job
After
6 years.
6 years. Established, practicing, making. And I want to make light of this. People love to say this, like making good money. Doing all the things, and you're like,
I had
done.
to choose me.
Yeah.
You
had to what?
Choose me.
Say that again. You had to what?
Which is very selfish.
No, it ain't.
But that's hard for us. You know what I'm saying? It's the right thing to do. But
I heard this phrase. It's like, I'm not selfish. I'm self-aware.
Ooh, I like it.
Which I love.
I like it.
But either way you call it, it's not. You choose it because if you don't choose you first, you literally are no good for anybody else, and it's a lesson that I have to become to get this.
And
fully.
I think I was probably this close to like not being well for other people. I wasn't resting.
Yeah.
I wasn't taking care of myself mentally or physically. So I think the major thing that people don't understand, as far as probably any career, but especially being a physician, we're missing holidays, we're missing birthdays. I don't clock in and out. Yep. So, even if, like right now, if I was still with my group and somebody was in labor, like the hospital can call me right now and I'd be like, "Oh, sorry, Dawn." Like,
that's what you told me. You're like, "I can't, I'm on this, I'm on rounds, I can't do this, I can't."
It just wasn't really adding up.
Yeah.
And so January 1, I was like, a lot of things had happened since the pandemic. One thing that really was eye-opening, one of my sorors actually from college passed away. June 30th. Passed away. Same age. Yeah. This could so as a sorority, we went to her funeral and we're all physicians. And I'm like, it could have easily been any of us. And although, we can say, hey, we've made decent money, we're great doctors, but it's like, okay, are you fulfilled in these other areas?
Yeah.
How is your cup?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think a lot of us were running on E. You know, her mother had made a statement. She was like, I think she was heartbroken, like she wasn't happy. And that just was a reality check. Not that I was unhappy, but I'm like, because I still did the things that I wanted to do. I travel. However, I knew coming back from that travel, I have 1,000 messages. I have 1 million patients waiting on me, or people just asking like, when's your next vacation? Because my baby is due. And it's like, you guys, I am human.
Yeah.
Like I have to sleep, you know, I have to rest in order to be well for you all.
Yeah. When I quit practicing, people thought I was crazy, and I was like, I can't
do it.
I feel like I'm dying, and I know this is the only way I've known to make money.
Yeah.
But I passed money as being a motivator a long, long time ago, if it ever was. I never chased money.
Ever.
It's a dangerous thing to chase.
Yes.
It's a dangerous thing to chase. And so, I mean, my gosh, I understand it more. I mean, you know that we've talked about that. I mean, and one of the things too that I love about you, I mean, we used to go in when I walk in that room and you'd walk in the room.
Yeah.
I don't know if you realize this happened, which I just always appreciate. You'd walk in the room and certainly your Dr. Emmary Butler, they'd be like, Doctor, be in here for a minute. And you walk in and it was like you would everything would fall away for the moment. You're like, hey, dude.
How you been?
Yeah. What's up? And I was like,
and that's what everybody.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's what's also exhausting though.
Yeah,
because sometimes we're on call all night
day. Yeah.
and I see 30 plus patients that next day and I'm giving everybody 110%.
Yep.
So it's like, what do I have left for me?
Yeah.
And that was just something hard to face, because I'm like, well, what about my patients? What about the community? And, you know, my family was like, what about you?
What about you?
Like, at what point does this become about you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I don't know. And so
January 1, you said I'm done.
I made a tough decision. And, you know, I'm a planner. So I made this decision without having something specifically in order, which really made me uncomfortable.
Where are you going to go? Who are you going to work for? What are you going to join? What are you going to do about your money? How are you going to replace all that stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
How does that all add up? You know, and I know, you know, doctors are needed all over the world. So it's not a lack of opportunity, but it's just a lack of the specifics. And I was almost afraid of people asking me that question, because I'm like, I don't want to let them down. Because it still wasn't about me. It was just like, ooh, even though I am doing something great for myself, it was just like the disappointment. Like, how could you just quit your job? But the pouring in of everybody was like, great. You could finally do X, Y, and Z. My mom was like, you've been going since kindergarten. Yeah. You went through high school. You went straight through medical school, straight to a job that was significantly demanding. Yeah. Take a break. Yeah. My dad was like, well, as long as your bills are paid, go ahead and take a break. Don't. So, you know, I am grateful that I was able to set myself up into a position where I'm like, look, I want to take 3 to 6 months off. And my finance advisor was like, you could take longer. So that's nothing. Do that for yourself. And I just had to believe. So honestly, when you had first, asked me to come, I'm like, I don't even know what I could talk about, because I'm exhausted and my mind is just mush. Yeah. And so in April, I took a solo trip. Love to travel. I usually travel with girlfriends. Took a solo trip to Cabo. Yeah. And a really nice resort. Yeah. And got treated exactly how I was supposed to be treated, luxury. And I was like, okay. As the days, when I went for a week, as the days unfolded, things became clear. I became comfortable with my decision, and the opportunity started to line up. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, you can do this. And so when I came back, I was comfortable, because I almost had buyer's remorse. Of
course. Again, the raindrop of the day is jump. It's not for the faint of heart. When you jump in, you're like, what have I done? There are no edges. Right. This water is incredibly deep. Oh yeah. And I did this to myself. Yeah. I jumped out of a perfectly good boat or off a perfectly good cliff or whatever it is, and you out here.
And so I asked my practice not to tell anybody. just in case I wanted to take it back. And they like, cool, you know, you haven't found a job yet, or you're not looking. Because at that point, I almost panicked. So I put in my notice, and I was like, I don't have a plan. So I like sent my CV out, and I started, like, things started to pour in, and I'm like, whoa, like, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
So then I had to remove my CV off these websites. So I'm like, okay.
'Cause they wanted you.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, the man is there.
Yeah.
But I didn't see that. I just saw it as like, oh, this is just another, like, somebody is asking for another part of me.
If you're not careful, I mean, I can see it because I'm outside of you looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not careful, you can be lulled into thinking or believing that you're regular.
Yeah.
You don't understand how fabulous, how much of a masterpiece you are. You don't see it.
It's getting there.
You got to get
I'm not
away.
great at it yet.
I'm terrible at it.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. I talk about it all the time through this.
Yeah.
But one of the I've structured my own therapy. Rain is therapy for me because if I got to talk to you about
so
this,
dope.
you're going to spit this back to me. You're going to be like, D, I thought you said this.
Yeah.
I thought you said this. I put this stuff out there on purpose. I mean, the
Yeah.
foundation, you're going to call me like, you started yet? What y'all
Like,
doing?
what's up? It's
What's
been a
up?
month.
Yeah. It's been a month. Don't take that long.
Yeah.
You got a whole firm.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, so I did that stuff on purpose, but it's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had this whole idea of, like, finally, I'm going south. I'm getting up out of here.
Leaving Indiana.
I've done my thing. Thank y'all for the time.
I paid my dues. I came back to my people and my family.
Foundation is
I'm out.
established.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good. And a really good friend of mine, actually 2 really good friends of mine, called from Indianapolis, like, hey, they didn't know. Because this is a secret, right? Only my family and my practice
They didn't know.
They did not know.
I thought they knew.
Oh, no.
Oh, they would have recruited you before, I guess, if they knew.
Oh, yeah,
They would have pulled
like,
you.
oh, great.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah,
Say
yeah,
less. Like, come on down here. Hey, it's 3 opportunities down here in Indianapolis. Not sure if you're looking or not. And I'm like, girl, I don't, no, I'm not really. If I was, like, I really wouldn't be looking at Indiana. They're like, oh, okay. The next day, hey, girl, no, for real. Like, your name is down here in the meetings, at least interview, whatever. So then I finally came clean, like, hey, like, I actually did put in my notice and I'll be done in the summer. And they're like, oh.
They cussed you out, didn't they? It was pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. They're like, oh, yeah, so you about to interview and, get the ball rolling. But I was just fighting it. I think God just have things lined up for you. And it's like, okay, you make this plan. He kind of laughs at it like, yeah, no, that's not really what I was thinking quite yet for you. So
you're staying in Indiana?
Staying in Indiana.
Where are you going?
Going to Community North.
Awesome.
Down in Indianapolis. Joining hospitalist group, which gives me that work-life balance. So I'll be working 9 shifts in the hospital, no office work. So when I get to, give them my full attention, but when I'm home, I get to give myself, my family, my full attention, and just joining a great group. Yeah. So 5 of the docs I've worked with before, they're very solid. We train together. 2 are super, super close friends. So it just feels right. As much as I tried to fight it and, I have this contract sitting on my desk and they're like, hey, when you gonna sign that contract? It's still sitting there, and they knew recruited me. I'm like, look, I'm looking to leave. And they're like, no, what we got to do to keep you here? And so my absolutes, and one, I was like, hey, like, I want to take this time off. I need this time off for my mental health. I thought they would say no, because the program that they were rolling out, it rolls out this summer, and they need doctors now. Yeah. And I was willing to say, like, I was willing to walk away.
That's again another drop within a drop, but it's so integral, I think, to jumping, because you have to know. I mean, you need to be strategic about it, and you need to know your worth, right? Yeah. Because if you don't, then you'll get offered something. You'll have an opportunity.
Sounds great,
and it'll sound amazing,
but it's not what you want.
But it's not what you want, and it's not what you want.
Yeah, but it's like,
but
who
it's
would
good.
say no to this?
Yeah. Who would say no to this much money? Or
I'm
who say no to
half of what I was before?
That's right. Don't mess around and make more. Yeah. Or whatever. So just it's critical. I mean, I talk to y'all all the time, about the importance of knowing who you are, and owning who you are. This is why. Yeah. This is why. Because you obviously are exercising this very principle right here. Yeah. You're in like, I know what I want. Oh, yeah. And if y'all say no to this, what'd you say? I'm willing to walk away.
Because because the things that I were asking for, like the old me, and I had to battle this. I'm like, would they look at me? Am I lazy? You never, going through training, medical school, like you never want to be labeled as lazy or not wanting to work. Yeah. And, I just had to let them know we've been through a lot these last, 3+ years, especially within the pandemic. We didn't have a slowdown. These babies were still coming. These patients were still coming to the office. So I'm running on fumes at this point. I'm not good for you all right now. Yeah. But if you wait,
I'm gonna be amazing.
I will be amazing.
Yeah.
Like I will give you those things that, the people have told you about how I perform. Like I can give you those things. And so they were willing to wait. They were willing to, give me the hours that I wanted. Like just everything. It felt like Christmas. I was like, I thought they would say no. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, go ahead, sign this contract.
When do you report for duty?
End of October.
End of October.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you definitively that everybody that you have touched, both as certainly as Dr. Emmary Butler, but just as M.
Yeah, and that's like who I am. That's who I see myself as.
What, as M? Yeah, man. I mean, you made us better.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You all make me better.
I appreciate that. So I want to make sure, on Standing in the Rain, one of the things I always do, I try to make sure that because rain makes room, as I said. I want to make sure that, I try to, get inside or like vibe in the world that you're in and try to support that thing. And tell me, let me try to see how I do this, because I want to make sure that people, all of her information, by the way, is going to be connected to the podcast. You'll be able to find her, follow her, y'all looking for scholarships. Just apply, all that stuff like that. Please apply. But I want to, what's like a need, like when, if people want to give to the foundation or whatever, how do they do that?
The website. So I'll give you information is Pace to Success.
And what do you accept? What do you accept?
Everything.
You said you used to give computers away.
Yes. So we do laptops yearly, still do scholarships yearly, just people in need. This year, changed focus a little bit. One student that I met needed her, she was studying for the MCAT and just need board prep.
Okay.
And she was just like, I just don't know, it's expensive.
Yeah.
And then the test itself, like, it's expensive. And I was like, I have a scholarship for you.
Yeah.
So just things pop up that I'm like, hey.
How many laptops do you give away?
2.
You give away 2?
2 a year.
Okay, so Standing in the Rain, the Rainmaker, whatever you want to call me, we in for one. We in the giveaway. We're giving a laptop to the foundation.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no. I just need the information so that we can give you guys pick it out, do whatever you need. So at least that takes care of that one. How about that?
Thank you so much.
No, I'm just excited. I want to make sure that somebody, you've blessed me with your time. Please tell your daddy, forgive me, all that stuff. But I can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
Man.
You already know. We could talk forever.
I know.
So my nurses will be like, we're going to come pull you out of that room if it's getting to be 20 or so minutes. Everybody want to talk. And I'm like, I know. Yeah. But that's just
they don't understand.
That's why I love my practice, because they knew you as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, they knew everybody that came in.
Yeah.
Like, a whole system. That's so to walk away from something like that where, like, my whole system was running seamlessly. Just super dope.
And that's really important, too. I want to say, you didn't walk away from something simply because it was bad. It was good.
Correct.
It was good.
And that's the hard, so for me, being too comfortable.
Yeah.
So even staying down in, Indianapolis, so I did residency. I was offered a job at my residency program, but I'm like, how do I grow?
Yeah.
We're all still doing the same things. Like, I wanted to grow as a physician. I wanted to grow as a leader, a potential business owner.
Yeah.
I didn't see those things down there.
Sure.
And so as hard as it was for me to leave Indianapolis to sell my home, the benefit of coming here just outweighed all of those things. Yeah. And it's like, they always say your growth is outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And every time I've stepped outside of that comfort zone has taken me to that next level.
Yeah.
So you got to believe it.
Yeah, a whole nother level. And it all comes with this. I mean, jump is a if the right way to say it, a metaphor for just betting on you, for just going for it, if that's the right way to say it. I just, I applaud you. I am proud of you. I'm giving you the last word. Thank you. I'm giving you the last word. I mean, there's somebody out there, they're like, I don't know how to jump. Just say, I don't know what to do. I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm scared. What do you say?
Do it with a plan. You know, none of this was done blindly. Even recently, you know, putting in my resignation for my job, I didn't have a next step as far as like job wise, but I had talked to my finance advisor. I had looked to see, you know, were my affairs in order before I take this leap. You know, don't take it and not have your life vest on. Yeah. Because, you know, if you hit this water and you don't know how to swim, what are you going to do? You're going to sink to the bottom. Yeah. So, you know, don't take this word the wrong way as far as they told me to jump. Like, I'm out.
I always give that
Beyonce
disclaimer.
Say release your job.
Release your job. Release
your job with a plan.
You won't wreck my soul. Right. Well, don't let Beyonce get y'all fired.
Right.
Or me. Or me. Yeah, or me. You can't sue me. You can't.
Do it with a plan, you know, and execute that plan. You got to believe in yourself. You got to bet on yourself, and you know, you have to be patient.
That's good. That's right there.
A lot of us want results right away, and it has taken years to watch these things unfold. And, you know, right now I'm sitting at, 4 weeks post-job, waking up without an alarm, traveling, seeing family, seeing friends, and just, like, doing the things that I've wanted to do the last 10 years. I can't even explain this. Yeah. Like, it just feels good. You know, I'm like, I've been telling people I'm treating myself how I should be treated. Yeah. And it's an amazing feeling.
I love it. And it's deserved. It's earned.
Thank you.
And it's by design.
Yeah.
And and you're just getting started.
That's the scary part.
Oh man, you're just getting started. That's right. I mean, if you don't take anything else. I mean, this jumping thing is not like a one-time proposition.
Because it's extra time that I'm about to have. Yeah. You know, I'm working 9 shifts. That's 20-something days of like this creativity. Yeah. Oh no, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be hot. But I can't wait to bring you back when who knows what you're about to do. It's gonna be some cool stuff. You know, so I'm excited. I want to thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for this opportunity.
Oh my gosh, anytime. Thank you for sitting down to vibe with me. Thank y'all for continuing to vibe with me on Standing in the Rain. I love you. Don't you miss it. Like, subscribe, share, repeat. Like, subscribe, share, repeat. Keep it locked. We're gonna just continue to bring you amazing content all to the end of pointing you to your greatness. I can't wait to vibe with y'all again. Let's go.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, come on.